Hi y'all, I'm Brenda with Blessings and Bread. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm making a pumpkin crunch cake. Yesterday I baked two sugar pie pumpkins and made my own pumpkin puree. And then today I'm going to use this puree to make a new recipe that I've not made before, but it sounds like it's going to be delicious. And I did find this on the internet. It was on Mary Catherine's table, and she says you'll never eat pumpkin pie again. Now, I love pumpkin pie, so this is going to have to be pretty good to beat just a slice of pumpkin pie with whipped cream on top for me. But a lot of people don't like pumpkin pie, so this is a little similar to a pumpkin dump cake. So come along with me today while I make some pumpkin crunch cake. This recipe is going to be super easy to make. We're not going to need a mixer. I just plan on using my whisk and maybe a rubber spatula, but we're going to be able to just mix this in a bowl. And so super easy recipe. As I said, I made my own pumpkin puree. Got that correct? Puree. And this is 15 ounces, which is what one 15-ounce can of pumpkin would be. I had a little more than 15 ounces, but the recipe calls for one 15-ounce can. So I'm just using this homemade pumpkin puree for my recipe. And it should work just as well as canned pumpkin. But if you don't have homemade puree, this recipe works with a can, one 15-ounce can of pumpkin. Now, next, this base part reminds me very much of a pumpkin pie. It's just a little bit different, got a little bit different kind of ratios of the ingredients that go in it. But it's going to sound very similar to a pumpkin pie if you've made one before. So we're going to get started here. Let me paper towel to lay my messy spatula on. Okay, so we're just going to combine the pumpkin, the 1 can of evaporated milk, and that's 12-ounce can. So just 1 can of evaporated milk. I'm going to mix that and the pumpkin together. And then I'm going to add 1 cup of sugar. So this is I compared this to a pumpkin pie recipe, and it's got a little more sugar than the recipe I use for pumpkin pie. So it might be just a little bit sweeter, but then this has more eggs in it than a pumpkin pie recipe that I make, because this calls for 4 eggs. And it doesn't say 2, but I'm just going to beat these in a couple at a time. Get them beat done. You could even probably beat these eggs before you mix them in. You might make them mix in better. As I said, this is sounds like a super easy recipe. And it also sounds very similar to some dump cake recipes I've done. All right, I think I'm gonna whip these eggs in this bowl first, just to make them a little easier to combine. If I did this again, I think I would just beat all those eggs a little bit before I combined them with the mixture. All right, and now all I need to do is add my spices and my salt. So let's start with the salt. It calls for 1/2 teaspoon to a teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to go somewhere in between that, not quite a full teaspoon of salt. Actually, it calls for 1 to 2 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice, but I don't really buy pumpkin pie spice. I like to just spice mine with the individual spices, and this is a teaspoon of cinnamon. I looked up exactly what the spices were that I put in my pumpkin pie, and that's what I'm using today, those ratios. So it was a teaspoon of cinnamon, and then it's going to be a 1/2 teaspoon of ginger. So now I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves. All right, and now I'm just going to mix those spices in. This recipe called for 4 eggs, where I think my pumpkin pie recipe only called for 2. So I'm thinking the bottom layer may set up more than a pumpkin pie. It might not be as like soft. But we will see. Like I said, it's a new recipe for me. All right, that seems to be mixed in really well. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put this mixture into our pan. And we're just going to be using a 9 by 13 pan. And I'm going to spray this pan. It says to have a greased pan, but today, you know, I normally use my homemade pie release, but since this is just more like, the bottom layer is more like a pie to me than a cake, I'm just going to use my spray for the bottom. All right, one more little whisk around, make sure everything's mixed. And now we're just going to pour this into the bowl. I'm going to double check my recipe. I have pumpkin, milk, sugar, eggs, spices, and salt. So everything's in there, and here it goes into my pan. I have one little thing I want to dip out from my pumpkin puree yesterday. There's a little bit of piece of solid there right around the edges. If you've not seen that video, you should go check that out. That video will be online at least later today. I'm going to have that up. So next, now it's where, to me, it feels like a dump cake. Because the next thing I'm going to do is take a yellow cake mix, and I'm just going to sprinkle it on top of this. And I am not going to stir at all. I'm just going to sprinkle this cake mix over the pumpkin mixture. I would say could easily call this a dump cake. A lot of dump cakes, you just use fruit filling on the bottom, but here we've kind of mixed our fruit filling up. You know, I'm not one of the very good person about experimenting with making things. I usually want a recipe somebody else has already figured out. But I'm just curious, who thought about this? Who thought about this and thought it up? I always wished, though, you know, I have a degree in home economics, and I always wished I had lived in a bigger area where I could have gotten a job, like in a test kitchen for a big food company. I think that would have been a fun way to have used my degree. But I'm enjoying using my degree now on my YouTube channel. So, all right, the last thing, next thing we're going to do is this is a sprinkle on the crunch. And the crunch is from, it says, I think a 1/2 cup to a cup of pecans. And I'm a big pecan lover, so I've got almost a cup here. This little chopper, antique little chopper, vintage chopper that I have, holds about a cup. And it was almost full. So I'm just going to sprinkle this on there. Now, I might, in the old days, have chopped these pecans by hand and made them a little bigger. But as we get older, some people, I won't say who in this house, wears dentures. And they sometimes have a hard time eating crunchy things. So we're making sure we got them chopped nice and fine. I'm going to save just a few of those. It doesn't say to do this, but I want to save a few and sprinkle them on top. I got these pecans last week. My sisters and I went to War Eagle Festival, and there bought these pecans from a pecan farm and all. I'm trying to think. I've forgotten the name of it. Now, Miller's pecans. All right. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to sprinkle this cake with 1 cup of melted butter. We're just going to pour this over the cake. Now, when I saw it used a whole cup of melted butter, I thought, oh my, This is going to be ooey and gooey and rich. Again, we are not stirring this cake at all. We're just pouring this over the top. Now, so we're not gonna stir. That's the big thing, is do not stir. So now, all we have to do is put that in the oven, and now we're gonna bake that at 350 degrees for 50 to 60 minutes. So you can see how easy this was. And we'll put it right in the oven. Now there is a cream cheese topping. Once this is done and cooled, then I will make my cream cheese and Cool Whip topping. So the toppings is what really made it sound like it was going to be delicious to me. So this is going in the oven, and then we'll be back. My cake is out of the oven and cooled. I baked it about 55 minutes. Since it was the first time I made this, I wasn't real sure when to stop baking it. It said 50 to 60 minutes, so I just went in the middle and did 55. So it's been baked for 55 minutes. And now I'm going to make a cream cheese whipped frosting or topping, I should call it more of a topping, that's gonna go on top of this. So I'm gonna get started making that topping. This topping is going to be super easy to make. I'm just using my hand mixer to do this, and it's got 3 simple ingredients: cream cheese, powdered sugar, and Cool Whip. So I'm going to start by taking an 8-ounce block of cream cheese, and I'm going to blend that kind of up. This is at room temperature. Next, it calls for a half a cup of powdered sugar. So we're just going to take and we're going to measure a half a cup of powdered sugar here. And that's all the sugar, powdered sugar it has in it. Level that off. And we're going to just add this into the cream cheese and mix that together well. Anytime you're mixing powdered sugar or flour, start on a low speed until it kind of begins to get mixed in. Then you can turn up the speed. All right, that didn't take long to mix it all. And so the next thing that we're going to put in is I'm just going to add 8 ounces of Cool Whip. So this is Cool Whip that's been completely thawed, and we're just going to put this in. Now, I will say this about my Cool Whip on this. I'm going to mix it with my mixer, but I'm going to use a low speed for this because I don't want to lose all the air that's in that Cool Whip. So, but I think I'll need the mixer to combine the Cool Whip and the cream cheese. Now, I'm just curious, before I put this on my cake, I actually want to taste it. I want to kind of do a little taste test. I think this is going to be delicious, actually. Yes. It's not overly sweet, so the cream cheese really comes through, and it's going to be kind of a soft and fluffy. So what I'm thinking is it's a little more than just whipped topping on top of there. Gave it that little extra cream cheese flavor. Now I'm going to bring my cake back, and we're just going to spread this on top of our cake. I'm going to also add some pecans to the top of this just for decorations. The recipe actually didn't call for that, but I saved a few pecans. This is spreading better now that I got this little spatula out, but it's still a pretty thin topping on top. And I did they did say that you could actually leave this topping off. You do not have to put this on there, but it just sounded pretty delicious to me to have this on there. So we're just gonna lightly sprinkle some pecans all over the top. And that really is all there is to making this delicious pumpkin crunch cake. My pumpkin crunch cake is finished, and it probably would do better if I chilled it for a little bit and let the topping chill, but I'm going to go ahead and do a taste test now. I'd been debating whether I should cut it like a cake or spoon it like a dessert, and I think I've made the decision to spoon it like a dessert. So we're going to see how this goes, and after I spoon the first one, I may have to cut it like a cake. Well, I believe it kind of cut like a cake. It's very cake-like in the bottom. So I may be pleasantly surprised by this. Let's get a fork and I'm gonna take a bite of that. It's like the cake just combined with the pumpkin. So I was expecting there to be a layer on top of cake, but it looks to me more like it's just all mixed together. So let's see how this tastes. That's definitely a surprise. It's part cake, part pie, full of pumpkin spice. I was expecting there to be 2 layers, but there doesn't appear to be except just the topping. I do love the topping on it. I would highly recommend that. I'm going in for another bite. As you can see here, it's very cake-like. Oh, it's about to fall. It's very, very cake-like, which surprised me. I was expecting definitely a layer of like pumpkin pie on the bottom, and it is not that. It's more of a cake dessert, but it's very pumpkin-y and it's very rich. It's very moist, full of pumpkin spice. I love the pecans in there too. That is a delicious dessert that I think a lot of people will love at the holiday or throughout the fall. Well, I'm excited to have another recipe of a pumpkin dessert that I can use pumpkin for, because I do love all things pumpkin in the fall, and this is another recipe I can add to my repertoire of recipes. I hope you've enjoyed this recipe. I hope you'll try it. If you try it, leave me a comment. If you have another favorite fall dessert, I would love for you to leave that in the comments as well. And before I go, I'd like to give a shout out to Kevin. Kevin brought me these beautiful mums that you see here in my table, and I added them to my video today just as a nod to Kevin. Kevin's one of my sweet friends, and he brought these for me, and I appreciate that. And I hope you've enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up. It helps the video. Subscribe to my channel if you're new. That always helps as well. Thank you for staying till the end. I know that's always a challenge. And I will see you the next time I'm in my garden, on my porch, or in my kitchen.